7 years ago, I never would have imagined I'd be here today, helping couples turn their intimacy into their superpower. For me, sex was feeling like my kryptonite rather than my superpower. Matt and I had a deeply loving relationship. We were building a successful business together, traveling and having adventures. And even though most areas of our relationship were great, our sex life felt like a puzzle we couldn't solve. I felt numb in my body and wasn't experiencing orgasm, aside from what felt like a couple of flukes. I remember hearing someone on the radio talking about how some percentage of the population is asexual. That must be it. I thought, my body just doesn't work right. I'm just not sexual. I felt disheartened. I knew that physical intimacy was important to Matt, and I really wanted to feel the connection and pleasure that I thought I should. Even though Matt was very understanding, I would often feel guilt or shame for my lack of interest. I remember Matt asking me what I want and what he could do to help make my experience better. I couldn't give him an answer. The impact of this sexual disconnect impacted other areas of our life to ... It was like a subtle, underlying friction that we managed to ignore or sidestep most of the time, but we knew that something needed to change. We knew we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together, so either we would figure this out or we would resign to a lackluster sex life for the rest of our lives. One day we were driving home from the airport late at night and we stumbled upon a podcast episode about sacred sexuality. The guests were a couple in their 60s who had been happily married for decades and their sex life was thriving. For many years, this couple had spent time connecting sexually in some way every day. We had arrived in our driveway and stayed sitting there in the dark. As we listened to this couple, neither of us moved. I could feel the heaviness of something important in the air. The couple suggested that people could start by trying 30 days of daily intimacy. We looked at each other. Without words, our expression said, "Are we doing this?" At that moment I felt a wave of resistance wash over me. This is crazy. I've been avoiding sex. Am I really signing myself up for 30 days of daily intimacy? But there was another part of me that knew I needed to say yes. The obstacle is the way, I told myself. We started our daily intimacy practice that night, and 5 years later we haven't stopped. Our daily intimacy practice forced us to address the things that weren't working. We could no longer hide from the challenges. And we've created the conscious intimacy program, the roadmap we wish we would have had all those years ago, so that you can level up your intimacy without all of the confusion and struggle we went through. I love seeing how people's whole lives light up when they tap into the power of conscious intimacy. So I'm inviting you to get started on your conscious intimacy practice today and see how your relationship and life transforms. Remember, our infinite potential exists on the other side of our comfort zone, which by definition is uncomfortable. 5 years from now, will your intimate life be a source of fuel for your relationship and your life?